tax-funded media in Texas. It's February 10th, 2025, and these are your headlines. After revelations last week that Texas taxpayers have been footing the bill in Texas for subscriptions and advertisements in media outlets like, yes, Politico, legislation has now been filed to prevent state agencies, including the legislature, from using public funds to support news organizations. Two House bills, 2599 and 2600, both of them filed by Representative Briscoe Cain, aim to curb state-funded media subsidies. That first one, HB 2599, specifically prohibits agencies from using appropriated money to advertise in or donate to statewide periodicals or internet news websites that rely on ad revenue or memberships. Meanwhile, HB 2600 goes even further, barring agencies, including, yes, the legislature, as I mentioned, from purchasing periodicals or financially supporting any news media, making it an exception for certain institutions like libraries and museums, and allowing a legislator to buy a single subscription to publication in their district. Now, the push for these reforms comes after our investigation last week exposed how multiple state agencies spent tax dollars on media subscriptions and advertisements. Now, with these bills set to take effect in September if passed, lawmakers are sending a clear message. Taxpayers shouldn't be forced to fund media outlets that may not align with their values. Speaker Dustin Burrows is assuring President Donald Trump that the Texas House will indeed pass school choice legislation this session. Now, that statement came after Trump took to Truth Social on Saturday to praise the Senate and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick for passing Senate Bill 2. Under the current budget proposal, that program would offer education savings accounts of $10,000 annually to up to 100,000 Texas students. Now, in that post, Trump wrote, "The Texas House must now pass school choice to deliver a gigantic victory for Texas students and parents," adding that he would be watching them closely. Well, it didn't take long for Speaker Dustin Burrows to respond. He replied simply, "We will." Now, both the House and Senate budget proposals currently allocate $1 billion for ESAs. Patrick, who has been critical of Burrows' ascent to the speakership due to Democrat support, expressed cautious optimism about the issue. He said, "Before this legislative session, the Texas Senate passed school choice 5 separate times, only for parents, senators, and me to watch each bill die in the Texas House. Just this week, the Texas Senate and I passed school choice for the 6th time and sent it to the House." He went on to say, "For the first time in my 10 years as lieutenant governor, Texas has a Speaker of the House who's committed to passing school choice, calling it great news for parents all across Texas. Let's get it done." Well, the Texas House is expected to introduce its own version of school choice legislation sometime soon, maybe in the coming weeks. Some advocates are urging representatives to just go ahead and approve the Senate's version, which was sent to the House last week. Governor Greg Abbott, of course, has maintained school choice as an emergency priority for the legislature this session.
Hey folks, Chris Salcedo here. I've got something special for you, the Salcedo Storm podcast. As your friendly, liberty-loving Latino, I bring you a mix of engaging discussions to help us fight for our state and our conservative values. It's the perfect way to stay informed and engaged in what's happening around you. So, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the storm of information and entertainment coming your way. The Salcedo Storm podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Senator Ted Cruz has reintroduced a constitutional amendment requiring a total of 9 Supreme Court justices on the bench at a time. Now, this isn't the first time he's introduced this. He introduced it in 2020 and again in 2023. This proposed amendment would go to the states to be ratified if it was approved by Congress. Cruz, a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and chairman of the Subcommittee on Federal Courts, Oversight, Agency Action, and Federal Rights, says the amendment is badly needed, adding that Democrat moves to change the court or pack the Supreme Court would be a direct assault on the design of our Constitution, which is designed to ensure that the Supreme Court remains a nonpartisan guardian of the rule of law. The Texas legislature has previously passed a resolution urging Congress to reject proposals to expand the Supreme Court. In an earlier action last week, Cruz joined fellow Senate Republicans introducing the Protecting Our Supreme Court Justices Act. The bill is a result of threats made toward several justices Previously, Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer attempted to intimidate Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court before the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization decision that overturned Roe v. Wade. Additionally, far-left protesters have demonstrated outside the homes of some of the Republican Supreme Court justices, reportedly posting the home addresses of Justices Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett online. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.